Hello everyone, welcome to another video. In this video, we will be solving a multiple choice question from accounting. And this is your new version actually, 7707, and the variant is going to be 12. So paper one, variant two, basically where you have actually 35 multiple choice questions, but we will be looking at multiple choice questions from 1 to 20. And if you would like me to make the video on remaining multiple choice questions, which is from 21 to 35, please comment down below, and I will make the video for that as well. You will have about 1 hour, 15 minutes to complete this multiple choice paper, which I think is enough time to actually complete the paper. So let's get started with our first multiple choice question, which you will notice that it's actually very similar to past years. So let's read the first multiple choice question. Which task would be carried out by a bookkeeper? So basically, you need to understand the difference between an accountant and a bookkeeper. Bookkeeper is basically very entry-level job, the first job that an accountant might do actually at the start of the career. After you get your promotions, then of course you will do different tasks. But the point here being is that the question actually has been repeated several times in different ways actually, but the question most of the times will ask you the same thing: what task would be carried out by a bookkeeper? So if I read through all these options, so option A says comparison of financial statements between years. Now this could be done by a financial analyst or an accountant, really depends, but it's not done by a bookkeeper. Not the main task of a bookkeeper. Preparation of financial statements, again, this is a job done by an accountant or the company or the financial accountants, i.e. it would be an accountant, not a bookkeeper. Provision of information for decision making, this again has nothing to do with bookkeeper or accounting at all. Actually, it's provision of information for decision making. So what it is saying is that financial statements are provision of information for decision making. Again, it has nothing to do with. So you see, you need to understand here, this option is very far off from the duties of an accountant or bookkeeper by itself. So therefore, the correct answer to multiple choice one would be option D, which you read, it says that recording financial statements, that is actually the very task of a bookkeeper. So recording financial statements is the correct answer to multiple choice one. Let's look at multiple choice two. Multiple choice two, again, is a very common type of question that is asked in the exam. If I have been solving these papers for quite some time now. I have done O-levels myself as well. And I enjoy solving these papers, and I want to help people who are studying, students who are studying for O-level accounting exams, and help them ace their multiple choice exam paper actually. So you would, when you look at these questions, I mean, they're very similar in nature actually. Just that the numbers will change. You have to pay attention to details. They're not exactly the same, but the idea behind them is the same. So you need to still pay attention and solve questions accordingly. So let's look at multiple choice two. The following ledger account appeared in the books of a trader, right? And so it's let's call this person A, and let's call this person A, right? So L has this account called A's, right? And if you look at it, what is A? A is actually an accounts payable. A is actually an accounts payable in L's book, right? So what it means is that L needs to pay. L, in other words, in simple words, L needs to pay A, right? So which statement is correct? Again, when you have understood what this account is, what is the position here, whether it's accounts payable or accounts receivable, and from which perspective this is being asked, right? So A allowed L $100 trade discount on 30th April. So did A allow a $100 discount? That's the question. No, that is actually incorrect. So A owed L $2,100 on 1st April. No, A did not owe anything to him, to L actually. It's the opposite. It's the opposite. L owes A $2,100 on 1st April. So L owed A 2950 on 30th April. This is actually correct. So 30th April owed, and yes. So the correct answer to multiple choice 2 would be option C. All right. L's net purchases from A were in April were 2,900. That is actually also incorrect if you look, the amounts are different. So the correct answer to multiple choice 2 would be option C, because L needs to pay A. It's not the opposite, because if you can judge that from this opening balance, it has a credit balance. So A has a credit balance in L's book. That means it's an accounts payable for L. L needs to pay A. All right, so let's look at multiple choice 3. Multiple choice 3 is Sarah sold goods on credit to Zafar. How was this recorded in Sarah's ledger, right? So it's asking from Sarah's ledger perspective. So Sarah sold goods on credit to Zafar. Zafar is going to be debit. So it's either this option or this option. So first it would be sales ledger. So it's actually this option. So the correct answer to multiple choice 3 would be option A. You will credit sales account. Sarah will credit sales account and debit. So journal entries would be like this: debit Zafar and credit sales revenue, right? Because it's on credit. It's on credit. It says it's not on cash. So these entries are reflected in option A, basically. So the correct answer to multiple choice 3 would be option A. Let's look at multiple choice 4. Umar sent a credit note to Mariam for goods returned. So basically, Umar has purchased some goods for Mariam, and now there is some fault in the products, right? In the goods, and Umar is sending those goods back by sending a credit note. And how would Mariam record this transaction? So it's asking from Mariam's perspective. In other words, now Umar has to pay less, right? So the correct answer to multiple choice 4 would be option C, because Umar is a liability. Because Umar now needs to pay less to Mariam, basically, right? So therefore it will be account. So Umar will be debited, and account credit will be purchase return. So the correct answer to multiple choice 4 would be option C. Multiple choice 5. Ben sold goods to David for $900 cash. In which book of prime entry? So prime entry means basically where the transaction will go through first, where it will be recorded the first. Would David record this transaction? So that would be actually, so if you look at, it would be debit, debit cash, and then credit sales revenue. That would be the journal entry from actually Ben's perspective. Right, and from David's perspective, it would be, so he had paid cash, right? He had purchased some goods, so it would be debit inventory and credit cash. That would be from David's perspective, right? Anyways, the first entry, the first point of entry here would be cash book. So the correct answer to multiple choice 5 would be option A. Let's look at multiple choice 6. So multiple choice 6, a petty cashier received $100 from chief cashier and $10 from an employee who had made private calls on business telephone. How would these amounts be recorded in the petty cash book and the cash book, right? So there are two different cash books running here. So petty cash book will actually include the $10. It would be $110 in this case. $110, I don't see anywhere else, so it's debit. Yeah, so the correct answer to multiple choice 6 would be option D. It would be debit petty cash book $110 and credit cash with $100, because this $10 is not coming from this $100. So $100, this is separate. $10 is this employee did personal calls using business phone, so he's just paying, the employee's just paying that $10 back to the company because he has used company's phone, basically. That's why. So the correct answer to multiple choice 6 would be option D. So let's look at multiple choice 7. What is an example of compensating error? So compensating error basically means that you undercast and overcast the same nature account, right? So that's what you need to find here. you undercast or overcast, you undercast and overcast to the same nature account, right? So if I look through these options, yeah. So basically what is happening in this case is this is office equipment repairs and this is office equipment account. So these are two different nature accounts. So I will eliminate option A in here. Purchase of goods from C Jones was credited to the account of C Johns, right? So again, these are two different people. So it won't, even though they could be same nature accounts, we cannot actually conclude here whether they are same nature accounts or not. But these are two different accounts, so we can't really say anything in here. So option B is incorrect. Option C, the sale of goods 65 to A as these was entered at. So these are amount reversals. This is not a type of compensating error. Therefore, the correct answer to multiple choice 7 would be option D, just by using elimination of choices here. And even if you read the option here, it says wages account, which is an expense account, and rent account, which is again an expense account. So wages account has been undercasted by the same amount as much as the rent account has been overcasted by the same amount. So wages account has been undercasted, but the rent account has been overcasted, right? So that's what is compensating error. So the correct answer to multiple choice 7 would be option D. Let's look at multiple choice 8. After the preparation of Abdul's draft financial statements, 2 errors were discovered. The purchase of a machine by bank transfer 5,000 was omitted from the accounts. It was completely omitted, never recorded. So that's one thing. The purchase of motor vehicle 15,000 was entered in the motor vehicle repair account, which is actually incorrect. So what effect? So basically, what effect will correcting these errors have on non-current assets and working capital, right? So non-current assets have to be increased by 20K, and working capital actually has to be decreased by 5K. By 5K. So non-current assets will increase by 20K, which is simply 5 plus 10. All right. So this 15 should go there. So the correct answer to multiple choice 8 would be option C, and working capital will decrease by 5 to 5K, right? Because 20 minus 15 is actually 5K, because 15K has gone into repair account, which will ultimately transfer into motor vehicle account. So 20K minus 15K, this 5K will be the difference, the decrease in working capital. So the correct answer to multiple choice A would be option C. Next, let's look at multiple choice 9. Why is the sales ledger control account usually prepared by a different member of staff than the person who maintains the sales ledger control account? Simply because to deter fraud. That's one of a very classic. If you plan to become a full-time accountant, a proper accountant, do your chartered accountancy or CPA, whichever is available in your country, then you one of the key things there is that you need to separate tasks between accountants, simply because we need to avoid fraud if there's any fraud happening. So the correct answer to multiple choice 9 would be option A. Let's look at multiple choice 10. What would be recorded on the credit side of the sales ledger control account? It's simply the matter of knowing the format of sales ledger control account, actually. So if you have practiced enough and if you have engraved basically the format of sales ledger control account, then you will actually know which side appears on the debit side and which side appears on the credit side. It's a very standard format. So the correct answer to multiple choice 10 would actually be option D, that is sales return will appear on the credit side of sales ledger control account. Let's look at multiple choice 11. So multiple choice 11 is Maria's draft income statement for the year ended 31st March 2022 showed a profit for the year 38,750. On 31st December 2021, Maria received a 5% bank loan of 4,800, which was incorrectly treated as a revenue receipt. So basically, what it is saying is that this $4,800 has been included in revenue, which is actually incorrect, right? So that's incorrect because it's a loan. It shouldn't be in company's revenue. In error, a whole year's interest on the bank loan was included in the draft income statement for 31st March 2022. So basically what this says is that this has also deducted deducted 12 months interest expense. Now that's also wrong because what is, look at the dates. So that's why I say dates are very important in financial accounting. So the loan was provided on 31st December 2021, but and this profit is at as of 31st March 2022. So the interest that should be recorded should be only for 3 months. Should only be for 3 months, right? So now you need to make these adjustments here. So first adjustment would be 38,750 minus 4,800. You will completely remove this, and then you have to do the adjustment for the interest as well, right? So interest, how would you do that? Is 4,800 times 5% will actually give you yearly interest. That will come to $240. Then 4,800 times 5% times 3/12 will give you the interest expense for 3 months. So this should have been recorded, but this has been recorded. So what has happened is this. So 38,750 already includes 4,800. So you need to deduct 4,800 and then just add back the difference, which I think is probably 180 in here. You'll just add back the $180 here because this is an excess, right? This is an excess that has been charged, right? So they have recorded $240 as an interest expense, but they should only record $60 in interest expense. So you just add back the difference in the profit because the profit will go up by that difference. So the correct answer in this case for multiple choice 11 would be option B, 34,130. Now let's look at multiple choice 12. So multiple choice 12, which statement about the reducing balance method of depreciation is not correct? A lower amount of depreciation is charged in early years. No, this is actually incorrect. So the correct answer to multiple choice 12 is option A. This never happens because if you know reducing balance method in early years, depreciation is at the highest and then it starts decreasing over time. So that would be the correct answer to it, but it says which statement is not correct. So therefore, the correct answer to multiple choice 12 would be option A because it says that depreciation in earlier years is less than in later years. So therefore, it's incorrect. However, correct answer for multiple choice 12. Let's look at multiple choice 13. So multiple choice 13 is the financial year of Yuan ends on 31st March. On 1st April 2021, he purchased a machine for $4,000. He estimated that it would have a useful working life of 3 years and a residual value of $100. Yuan uses straight line method. The machine was sold on 1st April 2022. So the machine for $1,500. So machine was actually sold within 1 year. Within year 1 or 1 year, right? So that actually means that the depreciation expense will only be for 1 year. So how do you calculate depreciation expense? Under a straight line method, it would be $4,000 minus the residual value. Now that comes as 3,900. 3,900 over 3 years will give me $1,300 of depreciation expense each year, right? So within a year, the first thing I would do is calculate the carrying amount, which would be $4,000 minus 1,300. All right, and this will give me some number, I would say, right? Because you should do the calculation by yourself as well, rather than me doing all the calculation here. So this will give you some number. Now you calculate this X number, and X minus 1,500 will either give you gain or loss. But in this case, it's actually a loss because the question by itself tells you it's a loss. You just need to calculate the amount of loss, right? The correct answer to multiple choice 13 is actually B, $1,200. So once you do these here, the calculations, you will arrive to the correct number, $1,200. The correct answer to multiple choice 13 would be option B. Whereas this number is actually going to be, if I tell you this number is going to be 2,700. So 2,700 minus 1,500 will give you $1,200. So let's look at multiple choice 14. Multiple choice 14 is seems like just some journal entries. So let's read it. Multiple choice 14, on 1st April 2021, commission receivable 210. So this was the opening balance on a commission receivable account. $210 was outstanding. It says it was outstanding. Commission received during the year ended 31st March 2022 amounted to 4850, which journal entry should have been made at the end of the financial year on 31st March 2022. Right, so it's asking at the closing entry basically. The correct answer to multiple choice 14 actually would be option A. It will have commission receivable of 4640 and income statement credit to 4640. How did I arrive at 4640? Is simply 4850 minus 210. We deduct $210 because we will assume that this has been settled in this amount. So the outstanding, so basically for 31st March 2022, the amount received would be 4650. This pertains to 2022, whereas 210 pertains to previous year, which would be 2021, right, as it says 2021 or other prior years in a sense. So the correct answer to multiple choice 14 would be option A. Let's look at multiple choice 15. So multiple choice 15 is about calculating the provision for doubtful debts on 1st January 2022. Again, if you have any confusion with the provision for doubtful debts accounts, I actually have a very short video explaining how to understand provision for doubtful, how to actually solve for these questions and provision for doubtful debts in general and the journal entries behind it and how the numbers are calculated. So you can actually go visit my channel and it would be under the basic financial accounting series. I have a playlist. So you can actually try to find the find the relevant video there, and there are also other videos on other accounting topics that may be of interest for you. Anyway, let's get back to the question, which is multiple choice 15. So Nula's financial year ends on 31st December. She maintains a provision for doubtful debts of 5% of trade receivables. On 1st January 2021, the provision amounted to $800. On 31st December, trade receivables were $13,400, of which $600 was disregarded as irrecoverable, right? So let's make a T account. That's how we will, it makes life easier. So provision for doubtful debts always have a credit balance, opening credit balance. So $800 will appear on the credit side. 600 was as classified as irrecoverable, so this will appear on the debit side of provision for doubtful debts, and then you will have to do 13,400 times 5%, which will give you some number. Now I won't do the calculations here. You should do them by yourself actually. So 13,400, but I will explain you the rationale behind it, right? So 13,400 times 5% will give you some X dollars. Right? So that X dollar will actually be this total balance. Now you have to calculate the difference here, Y dollars. Once you have this, you just need to do the maths in there, and then you will calculate the difference. Now this would come on this side, or this side. So again, you will have to see, let's call this Y1 or Y2. I don't know on which side it will appear because you will have to solve it yourself. But I have solved it on my own, and the correct answer to this multiple choice will be option B, 15B, $640. But that's how you will solve for it. You have the T account here, and 13,400 times 5% will give you that X dollar. X dollar will be this total. You just need to do the maths for the difference in here, and I hope you will be able to do that. Nevertheless, you can comment down below and I will answer these questions again. I can answer these in the comment section of the video. Let's look at multiple choice 16. So after the financial statements for the year ended 30th April 2022 had been prepared, a trader discovered the closing inventory had been overvalued. So if the closing inventory is overvalued, that means the profit for 30th April 2022 would be overstated. Capital for 30th April 2022 would also be overstated because the profit is going to retain earnings. However, for the subsequent period where your closing inventory will become opening inventory for 2023, so this will become opening inventory for 2023, will actually, what will happen is that it will understate the profit for 30th April 2023. So the correct answer to multiple choice 16 would be option A. These are just simple basic rules on it of inventory overvaluation, undervaluation. So you can actually this is not a very difficult question. If you remember the rules, you can easily answer these questions actually. So let's look at multiple choice 17. Multiple choice 17. Mariam owns a business providing accounting services. She provided the following information for the financial year ended 31st March 2022. What was the amount of fees shown in the income statement for the year ended 31st March 2022? Right. So it's asking what would be the amount of income pertaining to 31st March 2022. So basically fees owed by clients on 1st April 2021 is 4,500, received during the year 2022 500, and owed was 1,500. Now some students will say 22,500 was received during the year, and that's how the correct answer should be 22,500, but that's actually incorrect. What you need to do is actually from 22,500 you need to reduce it. You need to reduce the previous amount, which is 4,500, right? 4,500. Now this will give you 18,000, and then you have owed amount for $1,500 for the current year plus $1,500. Now that will give you 19,500, right? So this would be the amount of fees shown on income statement for 31st March 2022, 19,500. Let's look at multiple choice 18. Which item would not appear on appropriation account of a partnership? Again, if you remember what appropriation account of partnership shows, what items go in there, the correct answer to multiple choice 18 would be option B. That is, interest paid on loans from partners will not show up in the appropriation account. So the correct answer to multiple choice 17 would be option A, and multiple choice 18 option B. So let's look at multiple choice 19. So multiple choice 19, Carol and Denise are in partnership sharing profits and losses in a ratio of 2:1. Denise's current account balances were as follows: 1st May 2021, 2,000, 1st May 2022, 7,000. She made no drawings. What was the total profit made by the partnership in the year 30th April 2022, right? So if you draw the account for her, it says $2,000 in the debit and $7,000 in the credit. So what does that mean? So 7,000 must have been here as carried forward. That's why it's being brought forward. The total balance should be 9,000, right? So the total balance should be 9,000. Now, how this the total balance should be 9,000, right? So this 9,000, basically 9,000 is the share of profit. So 9,000 equals, this is the X, which is total profit, times her share is 1/3. Her share is 1/3, right? So her share is 1/3. Profit sharing with 9,000 will come here, right? So 9,000, 9 minus 2 is actually 7. That's how the carried forward balance also comes in 7,000. Right, so the total profit in this case would be, so if I just follow this equation here, the total profit would be option D, which is 27,000. So the correct answer to multiple choice 19 is actually option D. Let's look at multiple choice 20, which would be the last multiple choice question for this video actually. Which statements are correct? A debenture holder of a limited company is liable for the debts of the company? No, that's incorrect. A partner is liable to pay business debts from personal assets? That is correct. A shareholder of a limited company is responsible for company's debts? No. A sole trader is responsible for all the debts of his business? This is correct. So statement 2 and 4 are correct. Let's find the option. That is option C. So the correct answer to multiple choice 20 would be option C. So I hope this video was helpful to you. Of course, I have covered only multiple choice questions from 1 to 20, but if you would like me to make a video covering multiple choice 21 to 35, please comment down below. And if you think this video was helpful to you, please feel free to share with your friends who are studying for O-levels accounting exams. And I will very much appreciate if you could subscribe to my channel, because it is just a part of motivation, and also how YouTube algorithms work. It helps promote video as well. So thank you very much for watching this video and staying till the end. I hope this video was helpful to you. Thank you very much.